All right, let me paint a picture for you. You're doing everything right. You're training hard, you're trying to eat better, you're staying consistent, but something it feels off. Your energy starts to dip, or perhaps your workouts are feeling heavier, your progress starts to slow down. Now, what do you think most people do in these situations? They push harder, they do more workouts, they add more intensity, they add more discipline, more. But here's the truth: the problem, it's not that you're not doing enough, it's that your body isn't recovering enough. So here's why stress really matters. Your body, it doesn't separate different types of stress. There are so many different types of stress in our lives, right? There is life stress, there's training stress, there's work stress, there's stress from a lack of sleep. It all hits the system the same. And that system is driven by something called cortisol. So, in short bursts, stress helps you perform. But when stress becomes chronic, it starts working against you. Recovery slows down, energy drops, your sleep quality, it declines, and fat becomes harder to lose. In fact, elevated cortisol has actually been shown to increase fat storage, especially around our midsections. Okay, so here's the real shift that we want people to start aligning with. Most people think progress comes from doing more. We've talked about that already. But the real advantage comes from recovering better. Because when recovery improves, everything improves. So think about things like this. Your workouts are going to start feeling stronger. Your energy will start to stabilize. Your consistency will increase. This is the difference between burnout and sustainable progress, which everybody wants. Now let's talk about what recovery actually means. Recovery is not just rest, aka the rest day. It's about shifting your body into a recovering state. It's also known as your rest and digest state. So people, they live in the opposite, always on, always stimulated, always pushing. Recovery is what brings you back. All right, so let's talk about how you're going to stay consistent in that reality. Consistency with recovery is not about motivation, and it's all about structure. So you need to schedule it. So let's talk about starting small. How about 10 to 20 minutes per day? Attach it to something you already do. Perhaps it's after your workout, before your bedtime, maybe during a break of the day. When it's built into your day, it becomes automatic. All right, now let's talk about the evening reset. This is one of the most powerful habits you can build. Most people, as we've talked about, are operating in a high stress state. And so they go from this high stress straight into bed, and then they expect great sleep. It doesn't quite work like that. Your body needs a transition. Evening routines that reduce stimulation are going to help reduce your cortisol and improve your sleep quality. So here's what you're going to do instead. Okay, we're going to start simple. So choose one or two of these things: journaling, reading, writing down things you're grateful for, breath work, like box breathing. Look that one up for more insight. Light stretching, an evening walk. These are not just relaxing activities, they are signals to your body that it's time to recover. And this starts playing into those circadian rhythms that we talked about a few modules ago. We want to dial in our circadian rhythm so every day the body knows what is to be expected. So we want to avoid these stimulating activities before bed. We want to get rid of intense workouts too late, stressful work, that nonstop scrolling and screen time, that these things that are going to put your body into that stress state. Now, how do we manage the stress daily? Recovery is not just about nighttime. It's about how you manage your day. It's things like setting boundaries, protecting your time, learning to say no, and identifying your stress triggers. Then we want to replace reactive habits with intentional ones, like we talked about before, but during the day. So going for a walk, taking a breath, calling someone, taking a break. This is how you build resilience. Okay, so let's start talking about setting some expectations. You don't need to fix everything overnight. Start with one simple habit. Even small reductions in stress can lead to better sleep, better recovery, and better performance. All right, let's talk about that identity level that we love at Actualize so much. The shift is going to happen when you stop thinking, I need to push harder, and start thinking, I need to recover better so I can perform optimally. So at Actualize, we don't just focus on output. It plays a role, but it's not everything. We focus on sustainability because long-term performance requires recovery, balance, and resilience. Stress isn't the enemy, unmanaged stress is. So when you learn to control it, everything else improves, right? You'll train harder. You'll recover more intentionally and recover harder and build a body that performs for years. And that's how you're going to continue actualizing your purpose and potential.